as we serve you the best dose in news. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the speakers and callers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Omoluwabi Radio 87.7.
Get ready!
Alrighty, wonderful Monday morning to you wherever it is you're listening to us from right here on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. You're welcome on board once again to another edition of the program News Lens right here on your favorite dial, omoluwabi 87.7 FM. You know how we do it on the show every weekday from the hours of 7 till around 8 a.m. We review some of the newspaper headlines that made it through to the Nigerian dailies. We check the front pages and read out the headlines for you. And then you also get to be a part of the program when time comes. We open the phone lines and then you also get to drop your comment on Facebook this morning. You drop your comments and share your thoughts and views as regards some of the things we'll be discussing on the show this lovely Monday morning. Happy New Week to you wherever it is you are. It's a fresh start and it's a fresh new day. We are happy and excited that we made it through to a new week. Okay. Without much ado, my name is Oluwatayo Ajiwali, and of course I'm reporting for duty this morning. How we do it on the show, like I said, today the 14th day in the month of October 2024. Okay, studio time check, 5 minutes gone past the hour, 7 o'clock right here from the studio of Omoluwabi 87.7 FM, situated on the hills of Mokola in the city of Ibadan. Welcome on board Ibadan, welcome on board Oyo State, welcome on board Nigeria, welcome on board the whole wide world. Okay. How we do it, we read out the headlines first and then right after which you come back to analyze some of the headlines that made it through to the Nigerian dailies this morning. So this morning we have 4 newspapers for review. We have the Punch, Nigerian Tribune, the Vanguard and the Guardian newspaper this morning. So let's start with the headlines this morning. I'll be starting off with headlines from the Guardian newspaper this morning. With this one as a banner headline saying uncertainty over minimum wage execution as state government falter rather. Uncertainty over minimum wage execution as state governments falter. Full details of that story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And still from the Guardian newspaper this morning, we have this one saying PDP crisis deepens. Mohammed takes charge, demands swift action. PDP crisis deepens. Mohammed takes charge, demands swift action. You can get full details of that story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Okay. We have this one saying vacation, return home, citizens confused about your policies. CSOs urge Tinubu. Vacation, return home, citizens confused about your policies. CSOs urge Tinubu. More details of that story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying IMF slashes borrowing cost by 36%. Lowers country's exposure by $1.2 billion yearly. IMF slashes borrowing cost by 36%. Lowers country's exposure by $1.2 billion yearly. Full details of that story is on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Importers decry 25 million naira clearance for 40 feet container. Importers decry 25 million naira clearance for 40 feet container. You can get full details of that story on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Reverse petrol price spending. Pending court verdict, Sarah tells Tinubu. Reverse petrol price pending court verdict, Sarah tells Tinubu. You can get full details of that story on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And that's all we have from the Guardian newspaper this morning. Very quickly, let's see what we have on the front page of the Vanguard this morning. The Vanguard has this at the banner headline saying the petrol crisis Federal government resolves NNPCL marketers dispute. Petrol crisis. Federal government resolves NNPCL marketers dispute. The story has some riders here. This one says that NNPCL refunds 15 billion naira to marketers after DSS intervention. Marketers, Dangote refinery set for negotiation. Delay to impact domestic markets. Many outlets still short. Experts call for instant resolution of pricing orders. Consumers should shift to alternative. 11 PLC speaking there. You can get full details of that story on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Still from the Vanguard newspaper, we have this one saying Edo government writes Okpebolo, APC on formation of transition team. Edo government writes Okpebolo, APC on formation of transition team. Full details of that story is on page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Olu of Worry urges Africans to break free from mental limitations. Olu of Worry urges Africans to break free from mental limitations. More details of that story is on page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Price of bread rising faster than inflation rates. Price of bread rising faster than inflation rates. That story, some riders here say it will continue if, that's coming from bakers. Flour millers give reasons for high prices. Production cost rises 45% to 2.2 trillion naira. Revenue rises faster at 47.5% to 2.5 trillion naira. More details of that story is on page 21 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. DSS releases 2 end bad governance protesters in Kaduna. DSS releases 2 end bad governance protesters in Kaduna. 125 still in detention. That's coming from Adeyanju. Adeyanju saying 125 detained end bad governance protesters still in detention. More details of that story is on page 6 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. NAS considering rising VAT to 10% by 2025. That's a document there. NAS considering rising VAT to 10% by 2025. Document there is on page 35 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. VC's appointments Parks Row in Uni Abuja. VC's appointments Parks Row in Uni Abuja. More details of the story is on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And lastly, from the Vanguard newspaper, we have this one saying ahead of Eagles clash tomorrow, Libya in disarray as FA president resigns. Ahead of Eagles clash tomorrow, Libya in disarray. Ahead of Eagles clash tomorrow, Libya in disarray as FA president resigns. Okay, full details of that story is on page 38 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And that's all we have from the Vanguard newspaper this lovely Monday morning. Let's see what we have from the Nigerian Tribune this morning with the banner headline here on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune saying Wide Amagom should go. That's coming from Bode George. Wide Amagom should go. Coming from Bode George. Accuses PDP of violating its constitution. Says interim chairman can only act for 90 days. Yayari takes over party. Insists on October 24 for NEC. Okay. Tax North Central to submit nominee for top posts. You can get full details of that story on page 22 of the Vanguard of the Nigerian Tribune rather this morning. We have this one still from the Nigerian Tribune saying Edo government writes Okpebolo APC on formation of transition committee. Edo government writes Okpebolo APC on formation of transition committee. More details of that story is on page 23 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And we have this one saying PDP blast Fubara says he rejected offer to control river structure. PDP blast Fubara says he rejected offer to control river structure. Rivers governor PDP GF boss may face anti-party activities charge. Concedes main opposition can lose states. Can give full details of that story on page 22 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And we have this one saying Senate threatens work ministers HOS orders with warrant of arrest. Senate threatens work minister HOS orders with warrant of arrest. And more details of that story is on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. NDLEA arrests Thailand returnee with 3.1 billion naira heroin conceded in 6 bags at Lagos Airport. NDLEA arrests Thailand returnee with 3.1 billion naira heroin conceded in 6 bags at Lagos Airport. More details of that story is on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Diaspora groups commend Adeleke over mining reform governance initiatives. Diaspora groups commend Adeleke over mining reforms governance initiatives. Can get full details of that story on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Many feared killed. Police station set ablaze over alleged killings. organs harvesting in Edo. Many feared killed. Police station set ablaze over alleged killings. Organ harvesting in Edo. More details of that story is on page 26 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Nigerians go for lower quality goods as inflation, devaluation, fuel prices escalates cost of living. Nigerians go for lower quality goods as inflation, devaluation, fuel prices escalate cost of living. Says companies record high values but low volume of sales. Company records high values but low volumes of sales. You can get full details of that story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And lastly, the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Lastly, on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning, we have this one saying that Epis Onyema claims innocence as U.S. indicts him over alleged $20 million bank fraud. Epis Onyema claims innocence as U.S. indicts him of over alleged $20 million bank fraud. You can get full details of that story on page 24 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And that's all we have from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Lastly, let's see the Punch newspaper this morning. We have the Punch newspaper with this banner headline saying import duty. Federal government may grant 60 private jets today. Import duty. Federal government may grant 60 private jets today. Talk Bank chairman. Business moguls affected. NAMA gets list of affected planes. Let's take it again. Import duty. FG may grant 60 private jets today. Top bank chairman. Business moguls affected. This one says NAMA gets list of affected planes. You can get full details of that story on page 8 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Dangote meets marketers Tuesday over new petrol price. Dangote meets marketers today over new petrol price. More details of that story is on page 8 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Benin, Togo owe Nigeria $5.7 million electricity debts. Benin, Togo owe Nigeria $5.7 million electricity debts. That's coming from NEC. You can get full details of that story on page 58 of the Punch newspaper this morning. PDP crisis, Damagum camp, anti-Wike governors may clash today. PDP crisis, Damagum camp, anti-Wike governors may clash today. That story is on page 59 of the Punch newspaper this morning. God never planned suffering for Nigerians. We're speaking. God never planned sufferings from Nigerians. That's coming from Obasanjo. Can get full details of that story on page 28 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And we have this one still from the Punch newspaper saying FG Italy finalized talks on 34 new fighter jets. FG Italy finalized talks on 34 new fighter jets. You can get full details of that story on page 13 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Cooking gas price jumps to 1,500 naira per kg. Cooking gas price jumps to 1,500 naira per kg. More details of that story is on page 53 of the Punch newspaper this morning. NDLEA naps Thailand returning with 3 billion naira drugs. NDLEA naps Thailand returning with 3 billion naira drugs. Full details of that story is on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Obaseki, Equebolo's transition panels discuss handover today. Obaseki, Equebolo's transition panels discuss handover today. Full details of the stories on page 59 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And that's all we have from the Punch newspaper this lovely morning. Okay, very quickly, we'd love to pay some bills before we move straight into the analysis of some of the stories that we have this morning. You also get to be a part of the program when the time comes. Like I said earlier, the Facebook is live already. You can drop your comments on Facebook this morning at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Omoluwabi 87.7 FM is the Facebook handle. You drop your comment there and watch us live this morning. You can also be a part of the program when the time comes. We open the phone lines for you to join the conversation this morning. The studio lines are much active this morning. And when the time comes, we open them for you to join the conversation via the studio lines this morning. But before then, let's pay some bills this morning. We'll be back after this short time out. Do not go anywhere. Still Newslands on omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
Fresh news, best talk, hot music, where else?
Omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
At break time, when my champ needs to keep going, he's going to need his favorite snack, made with the goodness of malt, milk, cocoa, and crunchy Niger-grown maize, containing calcium, iron, and fiber.
Break time is crunch time. So give your chance this delicious crunchy delight to keep them winning all day. Milo and a snacks. Snack of future champions. Milo!
Hello?
Hello there. I'm at the hospital right now because the kills are seriously ill. I've been on a long queue and the doctor is here to attend to me. I don't know what to do again.
You know what? How about the numbers I gave you while leaving?
Oh, the e-Dokita numbers?
Yes.
Call them right away. They will attend to you immediately.
Hello?
Darling, just like magic. Junior is playing. Even Princess is eating like an adult.
You know I've told you to calm down. Our family is covered with e-Dokita Premium Plan. With e-Dokita, you have access to healthcare at your fingertips. Stop wasting your productive hours while waiting in the clinic for doctor. Subscribe today to any of e-Dokita plans and enjoy online chat and call consult, laser therapy, medical outreach, and home care services. Simply dial 0704-714-2000 or 0701-000-8670. Log on to www.edokita.com or visit us at eDokita, number 2 Ocean Street, New Bodija, Ibadan. eDokita, inspiring wellness.
This is calling on all telecom subscribers who are yet to link their national identity number with their SIM to visit the nearest office of their service provider with a valid name for verification and linkage, or risk losing the lines permanently. Your service provider will confirm your national identification number in the database of the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, and help recover the bad number after successfully linking your name with your SIM. A link will then be sent to you to automatically link your NIN with your phone number. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC.
My Sabi people, how una dey? Na Sabi people dey listen to Sabi Radio. Omoluwabi Radio 87.7 FM, na dem be Sabi Radio.
Omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
Alright, you welcome back. It's still Newslands right here on Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. And like I told you earlier, we'll be going straight into the analysis of some of the stories that we have this morning, and we'll be doing it together this morning. We want you to join the conversation this morning. We'll open the phone lines very shortly for you to join your share your thoughts as regards some of the things we'll be discussing this morning. We'll start from this one from the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning. It is the banner headline right here on the front page of the Guardian newspaper saying uncertainty over minimum wage execution as state governments falter. Uncertainty over minimum wage execution as state governments falter. So he has a lot of rider here. This one saying another conflict over takeoff months imminent as FG piles up arrears. Less than 10 states may be able to pay salaries from IGRs. Zamfara, others still paying below 30,000 naira. Widening gap between estimated actual IGR threatens ability to pay. Defaulting governors will be prosecuted, Falano insists. Our Southeast governors' way options may pay less than 70,000 naira. Let's get some insight to that story. Over 2 months after the new minimum wage law was passed, federal and state governments continued to dilly-dally on the implementation, even as governors have embarked on another level of negotiation with state unions leaders for a possible compromise. This comes as the government has broken the truce with the organized labor and increased the price of fuel by over 80%. State governments at the same time are flirting with the possibility of getting away with a lower minimum wage, aligning with the debates on decentralized minimum wage setting, whereas there is hope the southeast states could start implementation soon. Some of the governors and state labor unions are neck deep in the negotiation in another negotiation for possible compromises, which could mean compelling the workers to accept less than 70,000 naira monthly, less than 70,000 naira monthly salaries. That's in the southeast, with the cost of transportation increasing by as much as 100%, and pushing up the general cost of living significantly. Employees are still placed on the old wage level. This rising mismatch between income and cost of living has huge consequences for already the abysmal low productivity and poor service delivery in the public sector, while absenteeism is set to have assumed a worrisome pattern. In remnants of the previous era, there is growing worry over the fate of workers as regards the implementation of the 70,000 naira minimum wage. Some governors are already flirting with the possibility of striking a deal at the wage level that suits their peculiar fiscal position. Rather, in 5 years, the 30,000 naira minimum wage was in force. Not all states were able to pay. Even some governors were said to have started paying in the wake of the review negotiation. For one, Zamfara announced in May 2024 that it would implement the 30,000 naira wage following a 2-week ultimatum to the 14 states by organized labor. According to open source data, as the time of when labor threatened a shutdown, 22 states had implemented the wage floor, while 14 were yet to begin implementation. The 14 states were Abia, Bayelsa, Delta, Enugu, Nasarawa, Adamawa, Gombe, Niger, Borno, Sokoto, Anambra, Imo, Benue, and Taraba. Outright default in salary payments or staggered payments, another issue across states from far north to south, may also be carried over to the regime of subnational entities, and the federal government continue to battle weak fiscal conditions that are turbocharged by high cost of finance, stagnant revenue rather, and rising expenditure. According to Open States, a platform tracking the fiscal reciprocities of states, only Lagos, Kano, Anambra, Edo, Enugu, Imo, Kaduna, Kwara, Osun, Ogun, and Zamfara can pay their salaries from their internally generated revenues as IGLs this year without recourse to the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee. On the other hand, the wage bills of the 24 other states were larger than the IGLs, which have been sluggish or stagnated. At the time the report was released, Rivers State had not uploaded its budget for the year. Rivers proposes to spend 252.9 billion naira on personnel costs this year, an amount that is almost 10% higher than the 231 billion naira it hopes to realize from IGLs. This brings the number of states that will need FAC to pay their workers to 25. This year's budget estimates were prepared without a foresight of current wage floor, with a 133% increase in the wage floor. Less than 10 states are, as opposed to 11 highlighted by Open States, may be able to fund personnel costs independently. That's an interesting one there. Many states won't be able to pay the minimum wage as it is, and we even understand that so many states from the north have not started paying the 30,000 naira wage award. Some even started payment this year, and it's just so sad. Even with the current economic situation of the country, we are still grappling with. We are still trying to battle who will pay the wage award. How much are we going to pay? How much are we not going to pay? Some states are, as it is now, the reality on ground is that even with the IGR of some states at this time, they won't be able to pay the wage award. They will have to rely on the FAC before they are able to pay the wage award. And many Nigerians are saying the 70,000 naira minimum wage is not even enough for an average worker as you speak now, because checking everything, cost of living rising day by day, transportation cost, food, the high prices on in terms of purchase of food commodities at this time is also on the high. Many things are on the high in this country as we speak. You can't to get essential commodities at this time, you have to pay, if not double, if not more than double, you have to pay double at this time. And then we are still having this in the news that many states may not be able to pay the 70,000 naira minimum wage as it sits now. And it seems Nigerians are in a dire situation as we speak at this time. But then, what do you think the government should do to ameliorate this whole issue? Because it seems we are in a very we are in a condition, we are in a position where many Nigerians do not even know what to do at this time, because it's getting so unbearable for them now that we hear that some states, as a matter of fact, have not been paying the 30,000 naira minimum wage in this age and time where everything has skyrocketed, and then it's just a sad experience there. I want to take your opinions as regards that before we move on this morning. What's your take as regards this new development that many states, as we speak now, won't be able to pay the new minimum wage? I want you to drop your comment on Facebook this morning at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. You can also call us on 07047 007999 07047 007999. You can also call 08053888933 08053888933. Amidst all of this, we see many will argue that we still have government officials buying luxurious cars. We have the presidency getting new presidential jets. We have a lot of things going on. Many Nigerians are saying people in governance are not cutting their costs at this time, because you're expecting Nigerians to cut their costs and you're not even paying them at this time. The federal government, as a matter of fact, has not even started the implementation. They have a backlog of arrears to pay at this time. And the many are saying, what exactly is going on in this country? Many Nigerians are starving on a daily basis. As a matter of fact, not just starving, they are starving, seriously starving at this time. Many can't find food to eat. They can't get food to eat at this time. But then they rely on this money, this 70,000. Many have even planned their budget around this 70,000 naira. But then we are in the news that the reality on ground now is that many states, as a matter of fact, we have just about 15 states that can afford to pay the new minimum wage at this time, because it's even brings us to another topic at this time, because we've always been talking about how our states doing in terms of internally generated revenue. How well have they been doing in terms of generating revenue for themselves? Because many would have to rely on the fact to be able to pay the new minimum wage if they will have to pay. That means states have not been doing so well in terms of generating revenue for themselves. It's just all about going to the fair to Abuja to get a share of the national cake from all of these states. All right, let me take some calls this morning. The studio lines are open. Let's see who is here. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Tayo.
Good morning.
Thank you. I'm Bosse from Ibadan.
All right, please make your point.
Thank you. I beg now, who we offend now? Why is it that we are just experiencing all this time to time from the federal government? Imagine now again that they said that we are hearing this news this morning that some states will not be able to afford the 70,000 naira minimum wages. Of which is I'm sure this would be a shortcoming on the part of the federal government. If the allocation is up to the amount they can disburse to workers, to increase the workers' salaries to 70,000 naira, why won't these people pay? Though we know that some state governments are wicked on their own part too. Considering, unlike some state governments who are responsible and have been paying their workers promptly and they don't even default, just like we have it here in your state and some other states that they said some will be paying they said they will be paying 70,000, some will be paying 72,500, and like that. And these are things we expect good governance from this state government as in the governors, not for them to be doing the other way around like some state governments are saying now. So please, I don't know what the federal government can do to this. Anything they can do in order to ensure that the state government pay their workers as expected, please, they should do it. And then on this gas that they said has been increased to 1,500 naira, I don't know what they want us to survive with. They are the one that said we should switch from the use of fuel to gas, and now again see how much the gas will now be costing. The power power supply as well. They encourage us to increase productivity. Yes, we are experiencing epileptic power supply, but rather they enjoy sharing our power with other countries like Benin. And with that now, they even they have improved their productivity far more than Nigerians, and that is why their currency have even beat Nigerian currency today. So they should please rise to this occasion and do the needful. We cannot continue to suffer under this administration. Enough of all that we have been experiencing under APC leadership.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being a part of the program this morning. You too can join the conversation this morning. 07047 00799 07047 00799. You can also call us on 08053888933 08053888933. Those are the studio lines to call to be a part of the program this morning. You can also reach out to us on Facebook at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. That's the studio. That's the handle on Facebook this morning. You can join us and drop your comments. I can see some comments right there on Facebook already. I wanted to drop your own comments too. But then before I take your comment this morning, let's move away from the issue of minimum wage this morning and talk about some other things this morning. Many people will say bread is a food for common man in Nigeria, and then but then it seems a common man can't afford to eat bread at this time again because the price of bread has increased, has skyrocketed. Let's see who is here before we talk about bread this time around. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello. All right, you can do well to call us back when the line is clear. Okay, let's talk about bread this morning. It's here on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper saying the price of bread rising faster than inflation rates. Interesting one there. And the story has some writers here says it will continue if. So that bread, you've always that your best food, the price will continue to increase. That's coming from bakers. Flour millers give reasons for high prices. Production cost rises 45% to 2.25 trillion naira. Revenue rises faster at 47.5% to 2.5 trillion naira. Many will say that bread is the food of a common man. You can't even afford to. Many common men can't even afford to have a loaf of bread at this time, and it's just so sad because for you to get is a sizable loaf of bread, the one that can really satisfy you when it comes to bread, you have to have nothing less than over 1,200 naira at this time. And many will ask the question: how many people can afford to drop 1,200 naira to get bread at this time? These things used to be common things for Nigerians to take. At some point, just go to a retail shop to get bread, and then you eat bread. But then it seems the price of bread is on the increase as we speak at this time. Many Nigerians can't afford to buy bread. Judging by the price that has skyrocketed at this time, you just go to some of these retail shops to get bread, and you see with your 500 naira, you realize what they will give to you, how small, it's not even about it being small, how light it will be carrying it and holding it in your hand. And then you ask the question, when are we going to stop from all of this vis-a-vis some of the various challenges we are facing in the country at this time, where there's not even money to purchase the bread, even if you want to buy. If you are willing to buy the bread at this time. Let's even check out new developments in the story that I read this morning, that we saw in the one of the headlines this morning, talking about cooking gas has increased to 1,500 naira, and they're asking the question, many Nigerians are saying, shouldn't Nigerians eat again at this time? Nigerians should cut their coats according to their clothes. Yes, we understand, but then it seems the coat is not even, we don't even have the cloth again as we speak. Because everything is just expensive. Everything is on the high side at this time. You can't afford to buy cooking gas to cook your beans. Beans is on the high side on its own. You can't afford to buy cooking gas to cook your rice, because coming out, just checking it out, 1,500 naira to get cooking gas at this time is just it's massive, and it's just too huge for many Nigerians can't afford this. It's sad, and it's disheartening at this time when you hear people when you want to buy a small loaf of bread, you have to have 1,000 naira before you can get a small loaf of bread. I'm not talking about the bigger sizes. Nigerians are saying, who do we offend at this time? We did not offend anybody. Probably we just need to take some reforms. Yeah, we understand that the president is saying we need to take all of these reforms at this time so that to rejig and revitalize the Nigerian economy. And then that's what the presidency has been saying saying we have to go through the pains of labor before we enjoy motherhood. That's what the president has been saying. But then many Nigerians are saying this is just too much. This is too much. This is just too unbearable on Nigerians. You get to the filling stations, you can't even get petrol at this time. Even when you want to buy at 1,200 naira, many of the filling stations are not selling. It's been back and forth between independent marketers and the NNPCL. Dangote will come out and say this tomorrow. Today, NNPCL will say this tomorrow. Independent marketers will come out and say, there's a lot of things going on. We can't even lift petrol at this time. Nigerians are asking the question. Even at 1,200 naira that we want to buy, we can't even get what we want to buy. A lot of things going on. That brings me to my next story this morning. Let's talk about the issue of petrol this morning. The Vanguard has it here on the front page saying petrol crisis. Federal government resolves NNPCL marketers disputes. As NNPCL refunds 15 billion naira to marketers after DSS intervention. We have this one saying marketers Dangote refinery set for negotiation again. Another round of negotiation between marketers and Dangote refinery. There's always been negotiation between NNPCL. We've had a lot of committees coming up, springing up every time and every now and then, talking about the issue of petrol pump price. And then we have this one saying delay to impact domestic markets. Many outlets still short. That's what I was saying earlier. We still go to some filling stations. They are still short as we speak. They are not open. And then we have this one saying expert call for instant resolution of pricing orders. Consumers should shift to alternative. What are the alternative consumers have at this time? If at this time they can't even resolve between Dangote refinery and then the NNPC, or at some point the NNPC wants to be the sole buyer of the Nigerian of the Dangote petrol, and then at some point they say, okay, you know what? Let's leave it to an open market. Independent marketers can go. At some point we hear that the Dangote refinery wants to meet with the independent marketers too. But then it seems it's been all new story, the same old story rather, every time and every day. Many do not even know what's going on. We've always been calling for transparency in the oil sector in Nigeria, but then it seems the more we call for transparency, the more gloomy it seems, the more darker it seems. There's no transparency. We can't see. Nigerians do not know what's going on in that sector because crying out loud, we want to buy petrol at 1,002. We can't get it. We couldn't. Many that can even afford to buy probably some little amount of petrol can't even access the petrol. Get to NNPC filling stations now, you see long queues. Asking the question, is this age and time? And some experts are calling for alternative. Which alternative do we have? We've called on Nigerians to transition to CNG. Yeah, we already read it in the news earlier today that cooking gas is now 1,500 naira. If we transition to CNG, how would Nigerians be able to afford that when the time comes? You know, there was an analogy. Many were saying, okay, they told us to move from charcoal and firewood to kerosene. We moved, and then when we moved to kerosene became very expensive. Okay, they said, okay, let's move to cooking gas. We moved to cooking gas at this time, and then check it out. Cooking gas is now 1,500 naira per kg. So if we transition to CNG now, won't CNG be more expensive at some point than the petrol we want to run away from at this time? Even to convert your vehicle to CNG, even at subsidized rate, how many Nigerians can afford to convert their buses to CNG, to their vehicles to CNG, even at a subsidized rate at this time? A lot of questions we need to ask this morning. A lot of questions we need to answer this morning. When will all this old issue between NNPCL and marketers will be resolved? When will Nigerians get petrol? Are we going to continue to buy petrol at over 1,000 naira at this time? Shouldn't Nigerians be able? Many Nigerians will say we are producing crude in our country. We are producing crude in our country, but then it seems even at that, we can't even access the crude we are producing. Many Nigerians have resulted into going to black market and just checking it out. Some of these black markets petrol the people get from black markets are damaging the engines of the people's engines. And then nobody is doing anything about it, so to speak, because if truly we have regulatory body doing something, the regulatory body is doing something about all of this mess we fund ourselves. We shouldn't be still. We shouldn't be at this level at this time. But then it seems some cabals are stronger than Nigerians. Yeah, that's just what it is. It seems cabals are stronger than Nigerians. If a minute set of people are very strong, and they are so stronger than Nigerians as we speak at this time. because many Nigerians are asking the questions. Is this thing rocket science? If you say some cabals are the ones sabotaging the effort of the government, why not sanction them? Why not let Nigerians publicize their name? Let Nigerians know who these people are. But then these people can't be sanctioned because they are very strong. They are the high and mighty, so to speak. Nigerians have to pay for it. Pay dearly, not just paying. Even at 1,200, like I've been saying, Nigerians can still access petrol. When will all of this stop? When will all of this stop? We need to get things right in this country. You can join the conversation. We said a lot of things this morning. 07047 007999. 07047 007999. You can also call us on 08053 888933. 0053888933. Those are the studio lines to call to be a part of the program this morning. You can also join us on Facebook this morning at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. We want to hear from you. We want to read from you this morning. Drop your comment on Facebook. We'll read your comments shortly. You can also call us on via the studio lines this morning. We want to also hear from you this morning. But before pick some calls this morning. Let's see some of the comments we have on Facebook this morning. We have a lot of comments here. We have some few comments there this morning. Okay, I'll be taking them one after the other, the ones I can take this morning. We have this one coming from Stephen Oyewumi saying, we love it like that. Nigerians, do you love it like that? Stephen Oyewumi saying, Nigeria is good. We love it like that. Interesting one there. That's just a sad one. But then, it's a sad reality that we have to go through at this time. Let's see from Oluwaseun Root saying, good morning. The failure of the Emilocon's removal of subsidy without having any plan to cushion the effects has brought the hardship on the masses, because if they have revived our moribund refineries, we won't be facing all this hardship. And even the Dangote refinery that we thought would relieve us when it starts operation is causing more harm and more hardship again. I will urge the federal government to go into agriculture by networking with the state government and local governments so we can start producing locally and stop stop all these daylight robberies through crude oil. Thank you, Oluwaseun Root, for being a part of the program this morning. Okay, we've taken this one from Stephen Oyewumi saying, we love it like that. Many Nigerians will probably argue with Stephen Oyewumi this morning saying he loves it. Many Nigerians are angry, and they are hungry this time because a lot of things are not going on well in this country at this time. I'll be taking more comments, but then we need to pay some bill. Let's see who is here because we have a full call here. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning, your name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Makwetre. My name is Oladapo Semin.
Please make your point very quickly.
Yeah, just present that Nigeria is facing now. You don't just suddenly start now. It has been start since as a result of bad leader. When things continue like this, there is no how that nation can be grow. So, to me, with my own point of view, I think the best solution is let's just divide. So everybody can be manage their resources on their own. So when depend what their leader are doing. So now look at what you say. Some people are ready. Some states are ready to pay the minimum wage. Some states are complaining that they cannot pay. So it means they are using another people money to finance other states. So it's better we should split. Let everybody be manage what they have. So that's the best solution. Nigeria, if we continue like this, our leaders, they are not been there for the citizens of this nation. They are greedy. They are not ready to build the future for the incoming generation. So we can't continue like this. It's because we are too quiet. So we need to fight for the future by ourselves. That's the best solution.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being a part of the program. You've made your own points there, and I think that's your own opinion there. All right, we need to pay some bills this morning. When we come back, I'll pick more calls and read more comments on Facebook this morning. Do not go anywhere. Still Newslands right here on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. We'll be back after this short time out.
voice of integrity. 87.7 FM.
I will show you. Don't do that.
Sweetheart, no matter what you do, we show you love. So you can show more love to everyone.
Mom, how do you show more love to everyone? I will show you love.
Show some more love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200 naira, while Super Pack is now 350 naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till stock lasts.
When it's bright and early, get your breakfast right. Then you need all the nutrients that will hold you tight. Then stay in power, you find it all in Peak. Then every move you make, Peak's got you all the way. Then and the Peak goes on.
Power on every morning with a Peak protein breakfast to make the most of every day. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Rocking the city waves with the voice of integrity. 87.7 FM.
Fresh news, best talk, hot music, where else?
Omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
Alright, you welcome back. It's the News Lanes right here on Omoluwabi 7.7 FM. Like I said earlier, we'll pick more calls this morning when we come back and we are back from the break. Alright, the studio lines are still open. 07047 007999, 07047 007999. You can also call us on 08053 888933, 08053 Those are the studio lines to call to be a part of the program this morning. You can also drop your comment on Facebook at Omoluwabi 7.7 FM. Omoluwabi 7.7 FM is the Facebook handle. Drop your comments. We have this one from Miriam here today saying the level of hardship is on the high side, and no doubt the frequent hike in the petrol price contributes greatly to it. But what baffles the mind most is that the Minister of Petroleum, who happens to be the president, has done nothing tangible in the sector. What a failing government. That's your own opinion there. So you can drop your comment there on Facebook at Omoluwabi 7.7 FM. But then, as a new twist to what I want us to discuss this morning, we're talking about the government not doing too well. But then, many would think when you have a government that is not doing too well, the opposition should be vibrant and they be doing very well at this time in terms of probably creating an alternative for people come during the next election. But then it seems we don't have an opposition in Nigeria as we speak, because even the major opposition as we speak is a house divided against itself currently. We have this one on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, still talking about the saga between who should be the chairman of the PDP and who are the people that should be at the end of affairs at the PDP at this time. The Nigerian Tribune report saying why Damagun should go, that's coming from Bode George, accuses PDP of violating its constitution, says interim chairman can only act for 90 days. Yayari takes over party, insists on October 24 for NEC tax not central to submit nominee for top post. When the PDP is still fighting against itself at this time, then how are we going to have a viable opposition during this period? Because whether we like it or not, the PDP is one of the major opposition parties, if not the major opposition party, the only major opposition party we have at this time. But then it seems the PDP itself is not even ready at this point because it's out divided against itself. And we ask the question, do you still have opposition parties in Nigeria? We've had many have argued over times as saying we don't know if we even have political parties in Nigeria as we speak. We just have associations of where people can join to get their political to get their own wish. So to speak, I don't want to use the word I want to come out of my mouth at this time. Many would say these are what people do. We don't have parties with clear-cut ideologies. You can just see someone moving from the APC to PDP today, and then someone moving from the PDP to Labour Party tomorrow. And then you ask so many questions. Do we really have leaders with clear-cut ideologies? Just jump from one party to the other. As a matter of fact, check the current APC. You see that some of the people that are there are members of the PDP and some members of the AP Action Congress at that time. We see so many members of other political parties to join in the APC, to form the APC at that time. And if you go and check the PDP too, some members of the PDP were at some point members of the APC. Check the Labour Party, you see that some of the members of the Labour Party were at some point members of the PDP. You ask the question, do we really have political parties in Nigeria as a speaker? Because it's not just that we have some, instead of people coming together just to achieve some common political goals at that time, not just to really sit down and come up with ideologies and say this is what we want to do, this is how we want to try move our nation forward. It's not just about us as people, but then as a nation. They will have such people right here in Nigeria. Check out the crisis going on in PDP as we speak. It's a clash of interests. It's a clash of people saying, I'm the one that will be in charge. I'm not the one, you are the one that will be in charge. I should be the one who did the party structure at this time. Check out what is going on in Rivers State, for instance, too. A lot of crisis, political crisis going on up and down because many people just feel they are the ones that should be in charge. Not checking the interests of the people, not checking the interests of the nation as a whole. Whether the country breaks, it seems some people do not even care. Whether people lose lives and properties, whether government properties are being burnt down, people do not even care. It's about their own selfish interest. And it's also sad that we find ourselves. And then we talk about people in the governance. I really would say it's not just about the people in governance alone. It's about all of us as a people. It seems if we have such people, so set of people such as that, as our leaders, that means that's a reflection of us. Yeah, it's a reflection of us as Nigerians. That means that is who we are as Nigerians. And then it's just so sad that if our leaders can be so selfish and self-centered at that means that's how majority of us are. And I would always say, it's governance is not just all about the person in power. It's about all of us as a whole, because we select and these people come out of us, and we are the ones that elect them most of the times. So what exactly is going on in this country? Is it that we as Nigerians are not a set of not too good people? Because check an average Nigerian on the streets and check them, even at the slightest opportunity given to some people, you see what Nigerians are capable of doing. And they will keep complaining about our leaders, keep complaining about political parties. Like many would say, give me the opportunity, I'll go and steal my own money too. That means our leaders are also entitled to steal their own money if they are there, because it seems that's we've been wired and cultured and configured that way. But then I don't want to believe that we are bad people as Nigerians. I want to believe that we can have a rethink and change our ways at this time, because it shouldn't be business as usual. The country is collapsing already. And we can't afford to allow our dear nation to collapse. We can't afford to allow our dear nation to sink. So let's have a rethink. Let's have a reorientation at this time. That this country is our own. The people, when I say the people collectively, all of us, our interest surpasses the interest of one person. So let's do the right thing at this time. Unfortunately, the full studio lines are still ringing at this time, but then I won't be able to pick any call again because we've spent our time is fast spent on the show this morning. Sincerely want to appreciate everybody for joining the program this morning. A big thanks to everyone who joined via Facebook, and to those who called. Those who called and we are not able to pick, we say, yeah, sorry, our sincere apologies this morning. On to some other time where you join us again on the show. Use Lens. Tomorrow is another time. I want you to stay glued to your radio set, because a lot of interesting content coming your way this morning. After now, Jonathan Ibiliki will be coming aboard to take us into the world of sports on the program Sports Rapes. Right after which Kakakiro will be coming on board at exactly 8:30. Some other interesting content will also follow suit this morning. On some other time. My name is Oluwatayo Ajiwole. Urging you to please take a good care of yourself and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
For the best in news, talk, and music, Omoluwabi 87.7 FM is your best dial. Keep listening.
Boy, no shit love. Food no day for boys to focus. Price no day, even carry cost. Slim trouser don't turn to bogus. Hunger go kill person for Lagos. I dey slim them talks in a gym. Things too hard for this kind regime. Us are they no food to treat them. Hunger go kill person for Lagos. Jehovah, when will this pain be over? I dey pray hard and I dey pay tight too. Hunger still dey hold me tight. Hunger day,